Welcome. We're live. Listen, we're live on Instagram. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. And we're live in our Facebook group. All of the information to join. Oh, Austin, you're right here. Hey, buddy.
What's up?
Good to hear from you. Good to see you. I'm going to turn my volume down so we don't get a wicked echo. Good morning.
Same.
Good afternoon. Good evening, Keith. Good afternoon,
morning.
Justin. Hello, everybody. Welcome into the stream. We want to turn your Q's into A's tonight. Essentially, what we have going on is a lot of times first of all, hello, good evening. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how your week has been. It's a Thursday evening, a ripe old Thursday evening if you're with us on Instagram. Hello. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Mackenzie. Hello, everybody joining in. Aubameyang, listen, Keith Harcum chips in on the Instagrams. I am happy and sad about Aubameyang. Okay, first question then, Austin. Since I did put sports in the thing, give me a 15-second synopsis of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang going to Chelsea. Go.
I'm not happy about it. I'll be real honest right now.
Wow.
I'm not happy about it. I don't think. Yeah, I knew that this was gonna come up, and I was preparing for it. I don't think he's a good team player. I think he's been on the decline the past couple of years. So I think Todd Bowley.
And time. That's time.
Oh, okay.
Austin with the Chelsea flag. Yes, Rachel Barker. Austin does indeed support my team.
There you go.
Chelsea.
You can't see it on.
You can't see it on these
you
screens.
can see it on Instagram.
You can see it on the Instagram. It's right over his right shoulder. Maybe he'll get you a goal or two. Man, we need a goal. We need just one goal. That's all we need. Welcome to this evening's or this month's community event. We know it's September. This is our August community event. Deal with it. We're a day late. We were supposed to do it last week, and then life got in the way. Well, part of what we do here during our community events is really just get a chance to hang out with you, all of you here, and all of you here. Good evening, Lawrence. Send him to us, says Keith. Keith, you guys got enough problems. Your coach might not be there. Super Frankie Lampard.
We gave you our coach. What more do you want?
I mean, did we give him? It was kind of like you got fired
for sure.
in disgrace. Anyway, we know you guys have questions commonly that come up about church, about Christianity, about beliefs, about things that pertain to even being pastors, behind the scenes stuff, but also just real life questions, things that come up. And so we wanted to just kind of open a space for you to ask. We might not be able to answer all of the things, especially the esoteric sort of why is the sky the way it is things. But definitely. It is a good question. Thanks, Austin. Why is this? No, we'll get to that later. But we want to kind of know your questions, and we want to try to answer them. So the chat is wide open. The chat on Super Frank, it's Super Frankie Lampard, Mr. Keith, Pastor Keith, which, by the way, hello. Everyone in the chat, say hello to Pastor Keith Harcum, joining us all the way from Palm Harbor. Well, is it West Chase? Don't tell anybody. But joining us from Palm Harbor. Good to see you as well, Keith. My first question for you, Keith, is how is church life treating you, especially over these last couple of months? We do have a number of questions that are kind of behind us, so if in the chat we don't see anything, we're going to ask these questions. My first question pertaining to all of that while we let all the things roll in is, Austin, tell me, hey, Caden, good to see you, bud. Tell me a little bit about you, and tell me a little bit about, your journey in college right now. Kind of let everybody know what you're doing in seminary.
Yeah. So, like Andy said, I'm in seminary. So I am halfway through my Master's of Divinity degree at Asbury Theological Seminary, and I love it. I'm kind of a big nerd, as Andy can attest, as Pastor Keith can attest. I'm a huge nerd. Pastor Keith said, well, challenging, same as everyone else. Where's everyone working? Cool. Don't know how to answer. Don't know exactly how to answer that, but thank you. Thank you for commenting. I'm sorry. Mind blank. That was for what you asked him earlier. So
yes.
Yeah. Got it. I'm catching up now. I don't do a lot of these.
I know you. We got to train you a little bit. You gotta keep up. You gotta get. We gotta keep going here. Tell me real quick.
Yeah.
What's the kind of end game for what you want to be doing here, with your Masters of Divinity?
Yeah. So I mean, I ultimately want to do more school. So just keep staying in school.
Okay.
I tell people as a joke that I'll be in school till I'm 30. but that's not too far off. But I would ultimately love to pastor and teach. That's where my heart is. Teach about the scriptures. I'm a huge Bible nerd, so that's kind of my end goal.
End game being my teaching pastor, says Keith Harcum. Listen, he's got many. Keith, he has many years with us. They couldn't hear that on this microphone. I said he has many years with us. Yeah, cool. So I guess next question then I want to throw out there. We've got, like I said, a number of people watching here. Feel free to use the chat. Light us up in the chat. Let us know if there is any questions you have for us or anything that you would really like to know about church life. My second question is, how has it been at Bay Hope for you so far? You've been with us a year and a couple months. How's it been? Give me a couple of highlights, and then if you want to give me a low light, go for it. Nobody's watching this, right? Nobody's watching this. Yeah. So if you want to give me a low light, go for it.
Well,
as well.
we got Kat, Katina, and Christy in the chat. So welcome to everybody on Instagram there.
Yep.
I mean, I think it's great. It's exactly what I signed up for. It's exactly like there haven't been really many curveballs. I mean, I've kind of discerned a call to ministry. I've been discerning a call to full-time vocational ministry for 5 years now.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time.
You're getting old.
Yeah, I know, right? Charlene Gardner said, I'm watching. Great to see you, Charlene. But yeah, I love working at Bay Hope. Love working with this dude here on the other side of the screen. It's fun.
That's me.
Love being able to do things like this and learn a different side of ministry. And that's kind of the digital realm. And that's been awesome for me. So
absolutely,
I'm excited. I'm happy.
Absolutely. What's the next question? Throw something my way while we get warmed up. By the way, Charlene, Ron, all in the chat right now. Everybody else joining us on Instagram. Again, this is question and answer night. So if you have questions, we want to turn your Q's into A's. Austin, throw a question at me right now. Go for it.
Throw a question at you right now. All right, Andy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh,
there you go.
That's a long story there, buddy.
I just wanted to see what you do.
Yeah, exactly. I'm married. I got 3 kids. I love them all. I love my wife dearly, and I'm a pastor. And
there you go.
There's a lot there. Yeah, thanks. Hey, Dave Santos, thanks for joining us as well. Justin Deal asks, is working in a church different from what you initially expected? You start, and then I'll close up shop. Is working in a church initially different from what you expected initially?
Yes and no. I kind of got a good precursor experience interning for a few years.
It's true.
So that part, not really. But I mean, no, I would say to that answer, Justin, no, I don't think it was different from what I expected.
Yeah, he was well acquainted. Lisa also joins us in the chat. Hello, Lisa, been praying for you. Glad you're feeling a little bit better. We'll get to that question in a second. Keith, I see there's another question on. Hey, Erica, good to see you as well. I'm here in my home studio, so I'm sorry that this is a little wonky. Here's what my home studio looks like. This is what the people can, or this is what I see. I see all of this here.
Wow.
That's my aha.
Aha.
It is a lime watermelon aha. I guess I could probably turn the camera around. Oh, look at that. I can actually turn the camera around. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah, look at that. So I see all of this. There's my microphone. There's my Xbox and Switch. Here's some lights, and there's a server down there. And then computers. There's a whole computer down there as well. Don't mind all of my cables and my wires. Yeah, if you're on Instagram, you're getting the full tour right now. Erica, good to see you. I've been praying for you. Also, love seeing all of the stuff that is happening over at Horizon. If you guys have not seen what's happening in South Tampa with Horizon Church, go check them out. Awesome. They are doing awesome things. They bought a stinking bowling alley, which is totally dope, and they're renovating it, and they're doing church services down there, and that is awesome. Okay, Justin, for me, to go back to your question, it is initially different, yes, but I've also been working in churches. When I talk to people, I look at their faces live. Yes, you do. Shut up, Justin. Also, I've been a pastor for 12 years. There's a question jumping in on Facebook. We're going to get to that one in a second. I've been working in churches for 12 to 14 years. Before that, I was working at a software company, and before that, I was a bartender, and I was waiting tables. So it is different. It was different initially, but I've been in the church so long that it's just kind of old hat. Justin also asked, why are you talking to a mic that's not plugged in? You are a funny dude, Justin, and I really appreciate you. Keith then asks, also on Instagram Live tonight, Andy, are you glad you moved to Florida? Keith, I'm going to talk directly to you, Keith. Yes, I'm very glad I moved to Florida. However, the first year, I'm not going to lie, my wife will probably end up watching this if she's not logged in somewhere. The first year coming back was really tough. There was a lot of struggle, and there was a lot of kind of fighting between Jenna and I. Both of our souls were restless, and there was a lot of tension. And then the pandemic happened, and it increased the tension in our house. But actually, it did an interesting thing in our house, too, when my wife opened up her salon, and we really saw that God had placed us here for a reason, and it wasn't just to create super dope streaming spaces like I've got now, but it was really to kind of be a digital pastor, be y'all's pastor, or be one of your community pastors, and so I really like that. Okay, so we want to get to the question that came in on Facebook. From one Ron Rogers. Hello, Ron. Ron asks, for Austin, when will you deliver your first sermon at Bay Hope? It's a good question.
It's a good question. The answer to that is I already have.
Got him.
Got him. The impromptu sermon, which there was a...
Do you want to tell that story?
Yeah, I can tell that story.
Go for it.
So for those of you who don't know I guess the kind of behind the scenes of streaming church to multiple locations, it all goes through one room, basically. And if one piece of equipment is broken in that one room, then it's kaput. Can't do it. And so basically that happened, and it was Memorial Day weekend. And so Pastor Andy had to preach an impromptu sermon. Luckily, Pastor David was preaching at the Lakeshore campus, so he had that covered. Pastor Andy had to write a sermon in 15 minutes and preach it online, and I had to do the same thing and run down to West Chase. Not literally run, drive down to West Chase.
Drive down to West Chase, yeah.
Drive down to West Chase.
Normally Pastor Julie would have been able to plug in, because Pastor Julie, the campus pastor there, what our remit is as campus pastors is we always have to have something in our back pocket that we can preach on just in case something happens, because it is such a ordeal to kind of get things up and running. Lightning struck. Julie, I think Julie's mom had just died. Is that when that was?
Yeah. She passed away, I think a week before that.
Yeah, and so Paige was out, and the person running was the campus coordinator down there, Steven, who's awesome, but he kind of was like, oh my gosh, she's shell-shocked. And so we fortunately had we had a wealth of talent. Pastor Matthew was able to just do his normal sermon. Nobody knew the difference. I actually preached to 1,500, almost 2,000 people live on a Sunday morning. Had to kind of write the sermon in 15 minutes, which was great. Loved doing that, and preached it. And actually, it was a ton of fun. And then the thing that sort of Austin had to do was write his sermon while he was driving down to West Chase. So it all worked out. God was glorified, and we fixed the thing that broke. But yeah, sometimes that sort of stuff happens. Keith Arkham logs in and says, when I did it, I went on my horse. Yeah, that's because you're old, Keith. You're old, buddy. We jump in the chat. Brianna says, hey, Brianna, first of all, it is so cool to have you as part of our community. Right. We are super stoked for what you guys are doing with Divine Discussions. We'll be going to be talking about Divine Discussions a little bit over the next couple of months, but it is a women's focused Bible study that has been coming in, and our good friend Sam Latrico wrote it and kind of did all that. We shot it. I've been sort of cutting it. Austin's been cutting some podcast material together, and we're going to package all of this up as one of our very first women's only Bible studies. And it's delightful. It has a lot going for it. We're super, super stoked to really be a part of that. And we are so thankful that Bree has actually jumped in to be on the team. So Bree says, I don't have a question at the moment per se, but I just want to say that I really appreciate what you guys do. And it's awesome to see how God's working in both your lives. And it's incredible to see everything that's happened at Bay Hope. First of all, you can throw any of those comments at us anytime you want. I will just fawn over that. In all seriousness, thank you for that, Bree. We really, really, really appreciate that. Everybody joining in on Instagram Live, hello as well. Erica, again, thanks for the praise hands. If you have a question, anything that you want to know about us, about church life, about live streaming, about anything that's happened, throw it into the chat, and we will try to answer it as best we can. Lisa also says, I can't thank the Lord enough for all the wonderful things he's done. Amen. And Ron actually saw you preach, Austin. Saw you preach? Was it you or me? I can't remember.
I think it might have been you.
It might have been me because I was online and it was a lot of fun. Hello, Late Joy. Hello, Lainey. Good to see you guys all joining in. Okay, so we did have
Katz as well. Steve Katz is logged in.
Absolutely. So we did have a question from Mela Megan. What advice do y'all have for someone who hasn't been in church or connect with God in a few years and want to re-strengthen your faith? That's a good question.
Great question.
Here, I'm going to pop that up on the screen so that everybody can see it on Instagram. Erica with Keith with the bowling things. I love that. So, do you want to take a crack at that, or you want me to first, and then what advice?
I'll throw it to you first.
Okay. Do you have for someone that hasn't been to church or to connect with God in a few years and want to re-strengthen your faith? Andy. Okay. Thanks, Ron. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, Ron. Thanks for being there. So, Mela, first off, the thing that typically happens when people walk away from the church is there's usually some sort of hurt or there's usually some sort of thing. And so it always helps to identify that thing that made you walk away. Gen Z, please. The question is always to identify that thing. Without one of those things that actually made you walk away, the biggest tip I can have is to just do it. And I know that sounds really stupid, but to try to find the easiest way to connect. So it depends on what your quote unquote flavor is. Do you connect with people do you connect with churches or connect with God through music? Do you connect with God through singing? Do you connect with God through reading? Do you connect with God through writing? Don't immediately just jump in and go, oh my gosh, I got to read the Bible now from top to bottom, or I'm going to be a sinner and I'm going to go to hell. Oh my gosh, I need to give this and I need to do this for communion and all this other stuff. All that's going to do is push you further away. The first thing that God always calls us to do is to connect with him through our own gifts and skills and talents and passions and abilities. Right. And so it's identifying that one thing that you are super passionate about and then understand that God gave that to you for a reason. And that will then lead you down a path of re-strengthening your faith. Hello, Walk Bradley. Good to see you. So that's my kind of first part. Austin, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think the point of comparison, I guess it's not beneficial. That's a good place not to start, is to compare yourself with other people or even people in books that you've read. Or if you like reading books and you look at some of the great Christians in history and you say, I can never live up to that.
Yeah, that's good.
And it can be a little intimidating sometimes to see, I mean, even in scripture, how God moved in these mighty ways and we think we have to measure up to that. And that's not healthy. So that's not a good place to start. I would say a good place to start would be to kind of like what you said, Andy, just get plugged in and do it. Also, I would say look for people that you enjoy spending time with as well.
That's also good.
Because if you don't enjoy spending time with the people you're worshiping with and the people that you're surrounded with, it can kind of be a drain, and that's not fun for anybody. So I would say, get a good group of people that surround you that care about you as a person, care about you, and want to see you grow.
Absolutely. Another comment coming in comparison is ultimately the thief of joy. Great point, says Bree. That, and I guess the last thing I would say, Justin, we'll get to your question in a second as well. Mela, the last thing I would say about packaging all of that is that there is, if you haven't been to church in a few years, oh my goodness, did you just hear that thunder?
I know, it's going off on my place too.
We might lose internet connection, folks. This Q&A might end early. The church has changed a lot, even in just a couple of years. Over COVID, things have changed. People, priorities, money, everything has shifted a whole lot. And my advice would be to go in to whatever church or whatever faith structure that you can, be it online. This is a perfect place to start, or to continue to grow your faith is in an online kind of community like we are right now. We have hundreds and thousands of people that connect with us each and every week.
Right.
So start doing something along this line, and also go in with an open mind. Don't immediately say, well, I'm out of here because that pastor said something, or, the church has this bad thing going on or whatever. Go in with an open mind, because we all have to realize that, yes, things have changed, and we are still catching up right now. Like we're still trying to figure out which way is up. We're still trying to figure out how to actually do church in a post-pandemic world. So keep your mind open there, Mela Megan. Thank you for the question. Justin pops in on Instagram as well and says, on that same note, what advice do you have for people, I'm assuming, who have never been to church and are skeptical about it? What advice do you have for people that have never been to church and are skeptical about it? That's a great question. There's an entire generation of people right now that are skeptical about church, and I'm not talking just about Gen Z. I'm talking more about millennials. Gen Z, the sort of, Austin, technically you're Gen Z, correct?
Yep.
Got it, baby. And technically I'm a millennial.
Yep.
I just turned the ripe old age of 39. Hello, I'm old.
Wow. Hey, happy birthday.
Thanks. I'm
happy
old. I feel so old. My hips hurt. I don't know if it's the gaming chair I'm sitting in or what, but like my hips hurt. I tried to stream a game for like an hour last night, and I had to like, oh gosh, I gotta go. I gotta do stuff. And then I went out running this morning, and anyway, I'm an old man.
Gotta go for daily walks.
I work out like every day. What do you mean gotta go for daily walks? Get out of here with that nonsense.
Hey, that's the part of growing old, right? You got to go for daily walks.
Do I need to take Centrum as well? Centrum Silver or something?
Sure. If that helps you.
It doesn't help me because I am old, but not that old. Anyway, people, hello, Mimi. Good to see you as well. For people that are skeptical about church, my advice is always to, it's going to be the same thing that I told Mela before, but it's also going to be, the idea of going with an open mind. So people when they're skeptical, they automatically just throw things out. I'm sorry, Pastor Andy, your 30-year warranty has run out. Oh, great. Thanks, Lisa. I had a 30-year bumper to bumper warranty, and it's long gone. Trust me.
Yeah.
Anyway, when people are skeptical, hey, Dee, good to see you online here. When people are skeptical about church, the thing that ends up happening is the same thing that I actually was just saying to Mela Megan. They automatically throw things out with the bathwater. And the job of somebody who is seeking, who is skeptical but is seeking, is to be open-minded. Now, Justin's bringing up or coming from a cool point, because Justin actually works with us at the church. He is our videographer. So all of the things that you see done that are amazing, all the videography that you see, that's Justin. That's his eye. He's incredibly talented. He is one of like the best dudes I've ever met. And it's a privilege to work with him. Yep. But Justin also has had a walk with Jesus off and on, but he has had a question, or he has never really had a doubt of who Jesus was in his life. People that are coming to the church have a doubt about who Jesus is. They're coming in from culture, and culture says Jesus is just a teacher, or he was a dude that performed magic tricks 2,000 years ago, or he was such and such. And those people are always going to be shut off until one of two things happens. Either they feel love from a community, they feel loved by actual people of the church. They feel loved by a group of people that love Jesus already and are seeking to love people, or they are in need of something. So the first group, the people that are in love with, or being loved by a community, by a group of people that love Jesus. So that first group of people, if they feel love, they're gonna be a little more curious. And it might take time. This is kind of playing the long game. It might take time to break those things apart. But eventually, that person that is feeling love from that group is gonna kind of break down their skepticism, and they're gonna be a little more curious. So that's the first group. It's the long game, but it's more successful. The other group, the people who need something immediately. I need help with my marriage. I need help with finances. I need help. I'm broke. I need help paying bills. I need help doing. The church exists for that. The church exists for those type of things. But what ends up happening more often than not is that person receives that help and they're on fire for a little bit for Jesus. And then they slowly melt away. And Jesus told a parable about this. He tells a parable of the sower going out and sowing seed. And, the sower throws seed onto the rocky path. He throws seed onto the dirt path. He throws seed to the gravel, and he throws seed onto the good soil. And all of the other seeds eventually just fade away. But it's the seed that's planted in the good soil that reaps is a 30, 60, and 100-fold of harvest. And now that granted, we can take that as believers and we can say, oh man, there's another question there we were going to get to in a second.
Yeah.
There's an amazing way of looking at that parable as a Christian and saying, oh my goodness, yes, I need to be planting, I need to be the good soil. But if you actually look at it from the side of the skeptic, the skeptic themselves, who has never been in church, is looking for good soil. Because we're all ultimately looking for community. We're all ultimately looking for that love to be ingrained in us and shown to us. And they're looking for that good soil to plant into as well. Austin, I have not let you talk for like the past 5 minutes. What else am I missing here?
I mean, you covered it really well. And I think the parable is a helpful place to start too. In a more practical sense, I think if you're skeptical about starting or going to church, starting to go to church, starting to get involved in a community of faith, I think it's helpful to clarify what exactly you're skeptical about and realize that that's okay. We kind of talked about this a little while ago on a podcast that we recorded, but clarify exactly what you're skeptical about and find a place that is willing